Hello everyone, I'm here with Benjamin Mincu, founder and CEO of Elrond Network, now turning into MultiversX. Hello Benjamin.
Hello there, and great to have you here.
So is it just another rebranding, because the buzzword of the year might just be metaverse? And you haven't used metaverse here, but of course it's behind everyone's thoughts. When we see MultiversX, what's that?
I think a great way to think about the huge step that we've done and revealed and unveiled during the last days is a refounding moment. So embedded in this idea of MultiversX is the key point that on the one hand, most people have missed the idea and have maybe destroyed the concept of what the metaverse can be. That once you understand and look a lot deeper, the metaverse as an idea, and then through different layers of technology, can be a fundamental shift for society that can improve people's lives and open up completely new opportunities. But then beyond that, there's also this idea that people have generally replaced the physical world, the concrete things that we do, with this new notion of the metaverse. And there's an embedded in this change is a conflict. Now, we've thought very, very hard for the last years, what could we do and in what way could we capture both the depth and the vastness of the physical world and the depth and the vastness of this potential new world that we call the metaverse.
So I'm going to stop it just for a second right there. You're talking about people that have distorted this. You're actually talking about people in companies, in some companies.
Sure. I mean, the current versions of the metaverse that people have looked at are not at all exciting. They're super boring and they really suck.
They don't have legs.
Exactly.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, 100%. And so the key point that we've tried to drive home is that the metaverse need not be this super boring, uninteresting world, but can be the final frontier that we experience, that we build in, that we take new ideas and give them a completely new perspective. And then beyond that, there's also this point that if we move further, there's something even more fundamental than the metaverse. It is the physical world. That as we expand our set of experiences, the set of worlds that we can build and so forth, we cannot forget that they need to bring a constant feedback, positive feedback loop through the to the concrete physical world. And this way, we've conceived of this notion that is called the multiverse, that gives enough space for each of the worlds, namely the physical world, the world that we live in, and this new world that I believe will become extraordinarily vast throughout the period as we build new things, explore them, and so forth. So the point of expressing it as multiverse positions both worlds in a harmonious, complementary way, rather than exclusive or one overpowering the other and replacing the other. And we believe this is important because many years down the road we'll unavoidably face this question and this conflict. Is this new thing going to replace the physical world? Are we somehow moving to the metaverse completely? Don't we need to still put in the efforts to improve the world we're living in and so forth? So having this kind of constant feedback loop and naming it multiverse enables us to have this and to expand the vision. And then the power of X part takes the idea and says, there will be so many worlds, there will be so many ways that we can explore and improve things, that we're taking this to its very limit of vastness. So this is what Multiverse X really means.
We saw you on stage talking to many smart people, and you've been raising this question. Okay, we've been talking about the metaverse, but where are the users? There's not enough users to call it a world yet. How do we bring in the users?
I mean, we've thought really hard about three new products. We've in fact unveiled several products that we already have launched, and people can look at them in a new light through this ecosystem that we have. But specifically, we've unveiled 3 products that we believe will be fundamental and extremely important for the new world that we're building. And one of them is xFabric. xFabric is, in simple terms, the layer that will fundamentally underpin this entire new world, that will offer very simple and very useful applications to all businesses, brands, companies, and so forth. But moving beyond that, it's also the layer that will underpin all these new applications in the metaverse world or in the multiverse that we're building. So having this essentially through the MultiversX idea, we're trying to open a bridge between worlds, then spanning it across worlds in a way where if you look at xFabric, this will not be useful only for the world that we're living in right now, but it will also be extremely critical for the new worlds that we're building, precisely because it provides persistency, it provides a premise and a fundamental layer through which you can define the rules and so forth for the metaverse. And so it's extremely, extremely important, and we're quite excited about that.
I've been looking at it, and what struck me is that it's so simple to use. It takes out all the complexity, and it does not require a VR headset to use. So I think these are very two important things to take into account. People looking at this, hearing about the metaverse and VR, they already feel nauseous about it. Some of us had bad experience in VR, and we don't want another one like that. So xFabric is not about taking the real world, the concrete world, and putting it into the VR, isn't it?
No. I do believe that indeed the entire idea of the metaverse and then of the multiverse is this notion that raises the concept above some particular technology layer and makes it clear that for us to have this type of new experiences and utilities and new type of meaning that we can share, we are not confined to VR, AR, XR, or other types of technologies. The whole point, and this brings us to the second product that we've unveiled, which is X Portal, is in fact to see the world as it is now and to use the technologies that everyone sort of has in the world to open a portal through which anyone, anywhere could immediately come in. Because the problem is that if we look at this new metaverse market, there's essentially no market. There are no users. There are very, very few people that have the VR glasses, and even those cannot use them properly. So the whole insight that we've built on, that we've looked at for a very, very long time, was how could we open up not only this new portal through which you can create an avatar, through which you can use financial products, to which you can have a card that enables you to use money from both the sort of virtual or digital world and this fiat money that we have and use in the real world. But then also move one step further and say, how could we offer all of this in a way that anyone in the world could immediately have access to it? Because by doing this, we essentially create a market. Having a market then enables us to bring a lot of builders, a lot of applications, and a lot of experiences, which also brings us to the third product that we've unveiled, which is X Worlds. And the whole point is, again, if you look at the metaverse, there's this problem of having a fundamental layer that underpins everything that you're trying to build, and having a structure where you can define rules, where you can have persistency. And this is why without a blockchain, you cannot have a real metaverse. The portal part is the layer through which we onboard the users and try to move past the first million of users that we already have, and then try to offer this opportunity to anyone in the world, which we believe is extremely, extremely important. And then the last point is, of course, you might have the layer that's underpinning everything. You might have users, but then why would the users come? And the most important point on that front is that we need exciting, compelling, meaningful experiences that open up new worlds. And with new worlds, I mean perhaps worlds for education, perhaps worlds for entertainment, perhaps worlds for work and a different type of work, which is creative, connecting businesses and so forth. So this new layer enables us not only to look at the things that we're doing, that we're having fun with, that we're creating value with, and reinterpret them or reimagine them in a way that we could not before. But then it also enables us to say, this is extremely interesting, extremely exciting, but then how can we start with the first thing? What's the first step? And here we have something extraordinarily exciting that we're looking forward to, where we invite the users on the 10th of December to take a look at the first glimpse of how a world might look, what we could do in a world. Of course, this is not an end product. We're not there yet. This will take a lot of time. But what I'm saying is that if we start doing a demo where we challenge the community around the world to help us beat the record globally of any type of interaction that has been done in a metaverse world and exceed 10,000 users in this type of event, that would be historic and remarkable.
10,000 users would be a world record? That's so little.
Yeah, in fact, if you think about it, all the games that are enabling real multiplayer interactions have a maximum of 100 users interacting in real time. And then all the other users are on a sharded version of the game, and they cannot interact with each other. Now, there have been a few thousands users interacting, but then we're trying to take this to the next level and also give a glimpse of how this might work, why it's really exciting, really compelling, and how brands, users, businesses, and even governments might use this type of new technology to start communicating and interacting with their citizens or audiences or users in a way that could never been done before.
So this is very inspirational and all that, but still, let's get back into the real world. Xportal is actually an app that you can put on your phone, and it's a passport between worlds. Did I get it right?
Yes, xPortal is the bridge between worlds. It opens up this portal that anyone can join. It is a super app that you can install on the phone. We'll have it very, very soon. You can already test this with Mayar just to get a glimpse of how this is done. xFabric will be this layer that has a sovereign shard that enables any business to tap into blockchains, tap into very important applications that offer benefits with sheer simplicity. So abstracting away the entire complexity around blockchain and offering you a user interface that is no code based, and then enable you to customize the different applications. And then the XWorld part, again, will be the simplest way to interact with this new metaverse space. And once you have a glimpse, once you see how each of these products opens a new phase for the metaverse and then for the multiverse, I think it's going to be extraordinarily exciting to bring the products live, to launch them, and to offer them to the world to bring a lot of impact.
So simplicity is the key to onboard the next billion. That's a fact, and we know it. But we need not understate the complexity behind all this. We saw a lot of products being shown here. And looking back at the past 2 or 3 years, you've been going so fast about it. So if we told the people that you would be here where you are today, like 3 years ago, would have sounded crazy. But again, it looks like you're pushing the finish line much further this time. Are we looking at an order of magnitude further than where we were 3 years ago?
Yes, I believe even more than that. So if we deliver what we've set out to, I do think that this might become not only one of the most important technology companies and startup companies to come out of Romania, but perhaps the most important to come out from Europe. It has a real power to change the business sector, user and creative interactions with the Fabric part, the metaverse interaction completely, and the financial space with xPortal. And then the metaverse space completely precisely because it uses the first two applications and then opens up new worlds for businesses and users and all these new opportunities. So I think the next 3, 5, 10 years will be absolutely extraordinary.
I saw you talking about people able to build rockets, and it actually looks like you're driving rockets around here. Doing so many things so fast puts a lot of pressure on the team. I hear you're still hiring. Is that true?
100%. So we have been doing and building and bringing in a lot of breakthroughs and ideas that are very, very rare to be found in many companies, but even more rare to be found in one company.
Exactly.
And this we've been able to do because of a lot of extraordinary people that are putting a lot of effort in. We've repeated this idea because it's true that we've built a team with which we can literally build rockets. And we are always looking for exceptional people that are willing to take challenges in, willing to push the boundaries and move with the challenge until it's done.
But I haven't seen only hiring, also eco-hiring. You're onboarding, let's say, you're bringing on board entire teams and companies behind you and together with you, but also the community. So do you feel like you need to accelerate that, or are you happy for the time with, let's say, the number of projects that are already working in synergy?
The key point here is that now that we are finally with the unveil out, a lot of other things are following. A lot of other things will move forward. Many of the things that we've been working on, we could not share up until this point. And I do believe that things will accelerate with each of the products. The most important part is having the first version out, giving this to the people, getting the feedback, and then pushing it again and again to the next level. So we're always looking for smart and ambitious and resourceful people that think that they can contribute something to this grand vision. And it's only through this type of effort that we'll continue to level up and not only reach the finish line, but always change and raise and elevate the finish line.
You're doing that all the time. You're pushing your team all the time. So you've been talking about X Worlds. The preview is going to be early December. What about the card? Everybody's talking about the X card. It was supposed to be one of the highlights, but now it's just another thing in the whole announcement list you got here.
I mean, xPortal and the X card are extraordinary. The community, of course, was blown away, and this has been in a process for a very long time. I've specifically moved the team, then changed things, then changed them over and over again until we reached the point where we are finally ready to showcase this, of course, with MasterCard and all of that. So we're pushing really hard to have both the first version of xPortal and the first version of the card in Q1. We're probably going
So the first quarter of 2023?
Yes. We're probably during the December, perhaps going to have a specific date, and we're quite excited for that. And then in addition to this, we'll probably going to, during the next week, unveil a kind of update for each of the products that we are now repositioning in the new ecosystem, whether it's the DEX that now is called the X Exchange, with a huge update on that front that will probably come out next week and will be shared with the community. A great update for the NFT marketplace that is called X Spotlight now. And then each of these new updates will probably have once a week. So one product a week for the next weeks will be absolutely crazy. Not only do we want to unveil them, but we want to push them out, get the feedback, and elevate the entire ecosystem and so forth. I would also emphasize one thing, that we've seen a tremendous, not only excitement, but also support from the community on all fronts. And we could not have moved as fast as we did without this type of support from the community of validators, for instance, from the community of developers and builders, and even from the community that supports all the channels that we have. So we're grateful, and we're always pushing things forward with all these people. And I'm convinced that the next period is incomparably better than all the periods we've had before.
Let's just take a little time just to be grateful for the first 3 days, the first actual big conference you've had so far. It's in Paris, and the auditorium was always full. There were people sometimes standing on the sidelines because there were no seats left. And that's a great thing to have. That's a great problem to have, to be in Paris in the bear market with a full auditorium 3 days in a row of only new things to announce. And that's actually great. So how do you feel about the xDay in Paris?
I think it was exceptional. A moment to both look at how we started, what we've built and achieved so far with all these efforts, but also look on the things that we're building for the years to come. We were tremendously honored and excited to have not one minister from a country, but two ministers, both the Minister of Romania, Minister of Digitization, and the Minister of Digitization from France, and then a lot of brilliant people from the different industries, whether it's the metaverse space, whether it's just the business space, whether it's DeFi and so forth. So it's been a great moment for the community, partners, friends to come meet and also look at the future. And I think it has done magic for the people that have been present here.
So I've seen quite a few events like this, and this is one of the most, let's say, almost mainstream. It wasn't a geek event. It wasn't a crypto head event. So it's becoming more and more, let's say, popular, more and more for everyone. And I've seen very interesting people here. And I think it was a great event to have. So what about next year?
We're already thinking about that. We've had some conversations, and I'm convinced it's going to be something extremely, extremely cool. As soon as we've concluded with this part, we'll probably have discussions about that.
Okay. So thank you, Benjamin. That was it here in Place de la Bourse, Palais Brongniart in Paris, France. Can you imagine that? MultiversX, it's actually the latest thing to come out, a great project we're following, and I'm sure you're also following them. So if you want to keep up with the project, now there's a brand new website, fresh and clean and glossy. You can head out to MultiversX.com and learn more about the project. Again, thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you, Georgia.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you for the next one.
Thank you, guys.